Have you ever driven over a highway bridge and couldn't help but look below? Or stood on a shoreline's rocky ridge just to watch the water flow? And count yourself as one of the few with a different set of dreams, the kind that keeps you up at night, 'cause you can't wait to get to that stream. It's more than a river. It's more than the water flowing or where it's going. It's the grip on the paddle and the shit in the saddle, the V in the boulders and the lean in the shoulders. When you reach for the eddy, it doesn't get better than this. Yes, it's more, so much more than a river.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cross Currents Leadership and our live conversations. We are kicking off 2026 strong with this series of live conversations every Sunday and Wednesday night in January and February, talking to some of the experts and leaders across paddle sports and outdoor rec, and just doing everything we can, spending just 15 minutes at a shot, just a quick little hit, but helping you get the best nuggets so that you can really level up what you're doing in paddle sports and outdoor recreation this year. And I'm so excited. This live series is part of the launch of my new entrepreneurial venture, Cross Currents Leadership. But this very first live conversation, I'm so excited to welcome my friend Scott Szczepaniak from the U.S. Coast Guard. Scott, thank you so much for joining me and helping me kick off this series. I think we're just going to have the best time.
My pleasure. I love to talk about life jackets and love to talk about keeping paddlers safe and love to talk about paddle sports. So it's a real honor to be here.
You guys, we're so lucky to have Scott just as a leader in our community, but tonight in particular, Scott is a civilian employee for the U.S. Coast Guard. He's a recreational boating specialist. He works with state agencies across the Southeast on a day-to-day basis. But he also is an avid paddler since the 90s. He used to own Sea Kayak Carolina for many years, so he's done the retailer scene as well, and has a lot of insights from that life experience, and is an active ACA instructor trainer. So I know you are actively training new instructors, entry-level paddlers, U.S. Coast Guard active duty, as well as Coast Guard auxiliary, helping do everything you can to change boater behavior on the front end.
And I had a great day on the water on the Coast Guard boat with the local Sea Scout troop. So ship at 613, the Leviathans, we were out with the Coast Guard on the day for the day, wearing life jackets and letting the kids run the boat and do man overboard drills. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Pretty great job I have with the Coast Guard.
That's awesome. What a way to spend the day with the Sea Scouts, man. So what I want to talk about today, I know we're the crux of what we're going to be able to get to is talking about the new standards, and that's kind of the bright shiny thing that we're going to get to talk about. But just to make sure everybody is up to speed and we all have the language for it, can we start by talking about the harmonization of the life jacket labels with Canada that started a few years ago? Because I know growing up as a paddler and even growing up as an instructor, we were always so entrenched in that language about type 1, type 2, type 3 life jackets and recommending type 3 life jackets. And now the language is evolving to something different. Can we talk a little bit about those new labels and just sort of helping our instructors and our grassroots folks know how to talk about this transition?
Sure, yeah, well, that's great. So what we know traditionally is a type 3 life jacket. Here's my my fancy, what is it, an Astral or Coca-Cola, all good brands. But my typical type 3 life jacket, this label reads 70. There's a 70 in there, and that's talking about 70 newtons of buoyancy, which is about 16 pounds of buoyancy, and the typical amount of buoyancy for the type 3 life jackets. So you might find a life jacket like this, a paddle-specific life jacket on the shelf at West Marine or your local kayak shop or online that reads type 3, and it means minimal buoyancy, or it might have the number 70 on it. And that's the same buoyancy as a Type 3. But as you mentioned, we're trying to get the words consistent with the Canada life jacket manufacturers. There's an exciting thing about a lower number we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's, again, talking about that Type 3 or a level 70 jacket, and that's what we're typically looking at in the paddle sports world. My least favorite life jacket.
The orange horse collar.
Right. This is a Type 2 life jacket. It's got more flotation than this, right?
Right.
More is not better because obviously this thing is not comfortable. It's not cut for paddling. And this is a life jacket that people buy and stick under the deck bungees where it's not doing any good. It's it's inexpensive, but it's not comfortable, so you're not going to wear it. And so let's keep the Type 2s, the old horse collars, out of the equation. More buoyancy, but not comfortable. So let's forget about them for now. This is my favorite life jacket. This is also a 70 Newton life jacket. This Type 2 cost $7 at Walmart this summer. This Type 3 paddle specific vest is not the fanciest vest, but it costs $13 at Walmart this summer. So very affordable, and I'd always encourage that kayak instructors and other influencers of boat behavior go to Walmart and buy a couple of the inexpensive Type 3s so they can demonstrate them, so they can hand them out if they need them, because $13 is cheap amount of money to save a life. But as we get more into our kayaking and we become more and more experienced, boy, we love that $190 life jacket. It pockets and it's great and it's cut and it looks cool. And I love my $190 life jacket. But if I tell a new paddler that just bought their kayak for $150 when they ask me how much my life jacket costs, and I say more than your kayak, that's a turnoff. And so that's why we want to be able to hold up that paddle specific, paddle appropriate jacket and say, dude or dudette, you can get this life jacket at Walmart for less than $15 and much more comfortable, and it's the kind of life jacket that you're going to wear. Yeah. So.
Well, and certainly much more affordable than the ticket for not having one on your boat. And the best life jacket is the one that you'll actually wear. So far superior to the orange horse collar in that regard.
Yeah, and so the life jacket that you're all actually going to wear, the other thing that the new regulations did when they went into effect just about a year ago now, federal regulations, in the past, the minimum amount of buoyancy was 16 pounds or 70 newtons. The federal regulation said it's got to have at least that much buoyancy. The current regulations allow for life jackets with 50 newtons of buoyancy, or about 11 pounds of buoyancy, and they're thin. They don't float you very high in the water, but the intent of the regulations is less buoyancy that you're wearing that's comfortable is better than more buoyancy than you've got stuffed in a hatch or tucked under some deck bungees. Those Type 50s, when we read the label, and anytime you go into the marine store, the kayak store, West Marine, I encourage folks to just go through the different life jackets and learn about them, because we're educators and we get wise to them. You'll see those level 50 jackets. They don't exist on the U.S. market just yet, but within the year or two, they'll be coming. And they will say, in order to count for carriage requirements, so you don't get a ticket, these you have to wear. All right.
Got it.
And there's some rumors going around on the internet saying that they're only for paddle sports and stand-up paddle boarding, but that's artificial intelligence at its worst. They're recommended for protected water. They're recommended for people who have some swimming ability, those 50 Newton jackets that will be coming down the pike. but not mandated for that. But they will have to be worn to count for the carriage requirements.
All right, so let me just recap and make sure, put it in my own words, make sure I'm tracking so that everybody can make sure that we're all on the same page. The type 3 life jackets, and the way we used to talk about them as type 3 life jackets, that is a 70 Newton or 16 pounds of flotation, inherently buoyant life jacket. So the new language with the new labels and the new standards that we should be getting more familiar with is talking about a level 70 or 70 Newtons of inflation, right? The new phenomenon that is happening that hasn't hit the market yet, but is coming soon, is that we're now also going to have inherently buoyant life jackets that are level 50. So it looks like a foam life jacket, right? It is a foam life jacket, but it has a whole lot less flotation in it. It's not going to ride you as high, and you are required to wear it. You can't just have it on your boat, right?
Right.
Okay.
So you're tracking, and Andrea, if you could put that graphic up of what the labels look like. The other thing,
Sure.
again, is we want to, the two takeaways for anybody that watches tonight's short program. Two takeaways is make sure we're encouraging people to wear their life jackets all times, at the launch ramp, on the boat, just whenever they're in that boating or paddling environment. That's the number one takeaway. The number two takeaway is if you've got any questions about the life jacket or a life jacket, read the label. Read the label. And so this particular life jacket example says it's a 70 Newton jacket. It's not intended for offshore use. So you can see that swimmer there with a hand coming from the shoreline. So not offshore. That half arrow, half circle arrow turn ability, that life jacket's not going to roll you upright like most of the life jackets we're looking at. And those warnings there, you can see it's not for towed water sports. It's not for jet skis. It's not for whitewater. I joke that third icon down is not to be used on Thanksgiving. It looks like a turkey to me, but it's really it's really a tuber. So again, the number one thing to do is make sure the life jacket has a Coast Guard approval number on it, and make sure that we're using it as the manufacturer and the Coast Guard approval intended that particular life jacket to be used. The major takeaway: Type 3 or 70 Newton jackets currently. In the future, we'll be looking for the lighter weight, less flotation 50 Newton jackets, and again, wear them. And real quickly, just as a reminder to all the instructors out there, let's do a quick refresh on, you can take the graphic down.
Yeah, we've only got a few minutes. I promised 15 minutes.
Okay, and I'm watching the clock. So when we teach people to put the life jacket on, we have them zip it up, clip that belly buckle. My friend taught me recently that we'll think of that as an anchor. We'll tighten the belly buckle up at the bottom. We'll work our way up side to side. And finally, we'll tug on those shoulder straps, comfortable but snug. And you can test your friend or test yourself. It's not rising up.
Absolutely. Always start from the bottom.
We talked about some less flotation, and I'd like to real quick talk about some inflatable life jackets. This is a belt pack, a tiny little belt pack. It's manual activated. So think about the stand-up paddleboarder in a warm water in a protected environment. They wear that in the front. If they fall off the stand-up paddleboard, it does not go off automatically. You have to jerk to inflate, pull the tag, and blow it up. Alternatively, you've got the over-the-shoulder life jacket, and that might be an auto inflator, but kayakers and kayak fishermen don't like that auto inflator because they're getting splashed and they're getting wet, and they don't want it to blow up. Big drawback on an inflatable life jacket is cold water, especially if it's manually operated only, because when we hit cold water unexpectedly, we're panicking, we're taking in water, and we want to go up to where the air is. The last thing that we want to do is reach down and jerk to inflate, and we had to have a few fatalities. So better than nothing, meets the legal requirements. And again, we really want to be cautious about if we're going to wear a manual inflatable in cold water. The other thing is that CO2 in the cold ambient air temperature not expand all the way. So
right. Well, and
winter,
you just open yourself up to the opportunity for mechanical failure.
right. Wintertime, I'm going to be wearing an inherently buoyant life jacket like this. Just to have one or two general notes, and we can wrap it up. The instructors that are influencing paddlers' behavior, as human beings, our students learn not from us telling them one thing, but by watching a video, seeing a magazine article, reading the newspaper, having somebody else tell us the same thing. That's how we change our behaviors. So if you talk to somebody about the importance of wearing their life jacket, a new paddler, and they blow you off, don't be too disappointed about that, because in a week from now, they're going to read a newspaper account of an accident that happened. And in 3 weeks, somebody's going to say, hey, buddy, you're a knucklehead for not wearing a life jacket. So from the start, each little piece of influence to our intended audience, the new paddlers, starts to change their behavior. So don't get frustrated right off the bat. And then the last thing I wanted to say is that the American Canoe Association's new suite of resources, the Smart Start Safe Paddling Suite, you've got one, I've got one. It's a great resource. You can use it as an instructor to teach from. There's an instructor manual, there's a workbook, there's a textbook, there's some free online resources. Just a web search for Smart Start, American Canoe Association.
I've actually linked it in the show notes.
Okay, great. And great resources for everybody about beginning paddling and safety, and specifically life jackets and life jacket wear. So that was my spiel. Did I miss anything?
I think we hit the high points. So y'all just keep in mind, we do have new standards coming down the pike for new products that are going to be coming soon. So let's evolve our language. Let's move from the type 3 language we've always used. Let's start talking about 70 newtons of flotation, which is roughly 16 pounds of flotation. Let's start recognizing that there are going to be some inherently buoyant life jackets that are level 50s that you are going to be required to wear for them to count. And so you don't get a ticket. It's not just have it on the boat anymore. And let's just keep evolving our language and our understanding and the way that we try to influence boater behavior. We all know that life jacket wear is the #1 thing to save people's lives. So anything we can do to put one more tick in their what registers in their brain so that they ultimately decide to change their behavior. That's our job. That's the good stuff we can do. Well, Scott, thank you so much for joining me for my very first 15-minute live conversation. Guys, our next live conversation will be Wednesday, January 7th. We've got Jeff Atkins from Wave Paddler. This is going to be a particularly good one for instructors and folks at the grassroots level, maybe with nonprofits or folks that are working with beginners, because we're going to be talking about how you can use games to enhance your skills instruction, make it more fun for the students so that they want to come back and learn more, right? It's going to be just 15 minutes and we'll see you there. I do want to offer a special thanks tonight to Jerry Vandiver, my good friend, the songwriter in Nashville, who allowed us permission, in North Fork Music, who allowed us permission to use his song More Than a River on our countdown. In the show notes, I've included the graphics, the link to Smart Start, some other information about life jackets, and links to Jerry's music. So you guys check all those links out and we will see you Wednesday.
All right. Thank you.